Hi everybody, welcome to the channel for the first battle report of the Bellum Lacum number 7. I was playing against Benji after the pairing. I will tell you a little bit, I will tell you at the end of the video how did pairing go and what result we achieve. I thought it's more effective that way. So let's get started. You should already know my list. If not, I encourage you to watch the previous video. I tell you everything about my list, and this is Benji list. He's playing I think the core of the list is pretty basic. You should know it already, which is the Griffin and double Phoenix. Then we have a core made of Archer, and what is a bit special here is the 2 combat block, the unit of 20 Sworn Master and 15 Wardens, and instead of Bolt Thrower he decided to pick Sky Sloop. I think a pretty common Highborn Elf list. We were playing Breakthrough and Dawn Assault for this round. We have below the spell selection. I went all Blast because I think they can do a lot of damage in this matchup. And for Benji, he picked Flaming Sword and 2d6 strength 4, Hereditary, Quicksilver Lash, Heal. Couple of things that I found intriguing. I would have picked instead of Flaming Sword, I think Cloak of Cinders is probably better in this match. And then Quicksilver Lash, I think, doesn't do a lot. Could have picked something slightly different. I think maybe the Fly move could be interesting on Breakthrough. So I think questionable spell selection. Matchup analysis, yeah, this Highborn Elf is a mix between combat and shooty list, so it can be aggressive or wait. I think the combination of flying single model plus combat brick, I need to be aware of that, because if you combine both, it might be too much damage output for my combat unit. Keep track of the mobile flying unit and target them with magic. I think I have good tool to kill them from range. A lot of low strength quality shots, so Titan and Incarnate need to be careful about what they might do to them. Obviously can do a lot of damage. I mean, in the open, the Titan can die in 2 rounds of shooting against this amount of shots. It should be hard for him to attack my combat block. I think I have, just because of the Infernal brand, the doubling the ranks, if I have a counter charge setup, it should be too hard for him. I have also plenty of chaff available. I have a superior amount of threats in comparison to him in close combat, so it should not be too easy for him to attack me. My magic should do more work than his magic, and that's this couple of reasons make me feel good about the matchup. So Benji, I checked that. It's also for them a good way to try out some matchup. He wanted to try out the matchup, so he picked that to try it out. I felt this matchup should be positive for me. Deployment went that way. I wonder all for sight. I debated a bit what's the best way to cut the map because of the 2 impassable. It wasn't too easy to make a good choice. I didn't want him to be able to abuse from impassable, and I felt that way it's the less easy for him to take advantage from impassable, because one impassable in his deployment zone, so he can't do much from that, and the other one is close to my deployment zone, and also he has a lot of footprint to field unit that can fly behind, so not so easy for him to come here. And I made sure that I can deploy strong unit on the left and the right to make sure he cannot really take advantage from this, because I know that with flying unit it can be an issue. So Benji decided to drop everything for first turn. He put the Phoenixes on the side, all the Archer on his left, so on the right part of the map, the 2 sloops in the middle, the Eline River, and the 2 combat block facing me, so trying to go very frontal. So he's already telling me that he wants to clash, come in my strong flank with this unit that are also partially in the water and are going to suffer some DTs. The only thing that, so yeah, we can question if it's right or not, but he wanted to put his stronger unit to basically block me. And the only thing that I really question is the position of the Griffin. I find him to be too far on the right. He might need too much time to approach to my deployment zone and be too much in the open field. Expected to be him to be more central, to be able to move to the left or the right depending on my deployment. So the way I counter deployed, I put the 2 unwanted unit on the left to think basically I have here an aggressive pass where he's not going to be able to stop me with only a Phoenix and some infantry unit. So basically it's my best way to get a breakthrough here. Then I placed Incarnate here that can play good around an impassable. I have my Overlord here down the middle, the 2 chaff unit facing his combat infantry that I can chaff, so that are my main goal. And basically here my Bastion and infantry unit to stop his advanced move from the flying move. So I'm telling him, if you move in the open, I can magic you, then you have a second round to move in the open, then I can magic and shoot you, and then you have a third time and I can stand and shoot and magic you again. So it might be too much from the Griffin, too much distance to come close to me. So I'm basically closing down the flank and at the same time giving me the opportunity, if he moves away, to push hard with the Infernal Warrior and be able to cause pressure. I put my Titan very far away from him because I want to force him to move to be able to shoot me, and I'm behind the forest, so I have a pass from the Titan to move towards the right flank and create something to threaten them without suffering too much shots. So basically that's the pass for the Titan to push here. I could have put also the Titan on the left, but I felt with this lateral movement it's a good way for him to take advantage from that and also counter the Phoenix. So I felt this is a good part of the map for him. But obviously it's debatable. I think the Titan would have been also strong on the left and could have pushed hard on the left. It's also decent, but I felt this would make me a bit weaker on the right, and I liked his lateral movement, the way I could move on the right flank. So that's it for deployment. Let's move on to Eastern 1. So he's going to push the 2 blocks, push the Phoenixes and move back with the Griffin. So he's coming back to the starting position where I would have seen him. So that was that's what I was telling you. Magic phase, he got Flaming Sword, he faced Meladis, and with shooting he's going to do a crazy amount of wounds on the Bastion, who is always in soft cover, but he's able to get 11 wounds to the Bastion unit, which is completely crazy and not expected from me. I made a couple of stats in the way to the tournament, and I didn't expect so much in a shooting phase. So definitely that's more than expected. It's already half the Bastion is dead. So we have a very good roll for him. My turn 1, let's see how I react. So I push hard on the right flank because the Phoenix uses the Impassable to get unchargeable by anything, but at the same time he doesn't see anything at all, meaning I can freely push and not be afraid of a charge. So I push max with the 2 units. I place the Overlord in a position that the Phoenix cannot escape my line of sight, cannot fly over those guys. So basically, any position that he takes, I get a line of sight with either the Overlord or the Incarnate. I move a bit forward with the Bastion, and I push forward with this unit to force him to start to get shot at those guys. They're not anymore on the Bastion. I get the Titan to the side in a position to covering all the position from the Phoenix, but starting to do my flanking maneuver on the right flank. In the magic phase, I get a breast weapon and a pentagram on the Swordmaster, killing a total of 3 guys. His turn 2, he decided to activate really hard, so he used the Phoenix to chaff my Incarnate, which surprised me a bit. And then he pushed hard with the 2 infantry block, facing my Bastion only. Here I made a small mistake. By pushing that hard, I allow him to find both a spot for the Phoenix on the right, which shouldn't have been the case, and also the Swordmaster out of line of sight on the left. I think here the right positioning should have been like 2 or 3 inch more in the back, getting close to the Bastion, getting a counter charge and covering better the angle. So a bit disappointing about the holes, the sweet spot that I left on the right and the left, without getting any good charges. I have here like a charge on the 10 and he can easily flee that charge. So not too happy about the choices of my Infernal Warrior here. He decided to push hard and prepare the chaff. Basically, I get 1 more turn to turn around, then he can chaff me, and this should give him enough time to activate. But at the same time, he has to use the Phoenix to chaff the Incarnate, and I have only, I think, a line of sight with the bull on the face of the Phoenix, but nothing else than that. I don't think, was I able to see him? Maybe he was out of line of sight with the Phoenix. I think I couldn't charge with the bull. A magic vase, he gets kills 1 Infernal Warrior with Pyroclastic Flow. He gets on 3 dice Meladis, and on shooting he kills another 4 guys from the Bastion unit. But this is more normal for me than 11 wounds. I might turn 2. I charge with Incarnate against the Phoenix, getting the pass for an overrun into those guys. Feeling if I get the overrun, he has only the Griffin that can countercharge me, but I'm going to do a lot of damage on those guys. Not sure he wants that. I get the 2 anointed in countercharge position. So really happy about the pressure. I think here, if I get through in 1 go and get the overrun, I'm in a very good shape. Or even if I kill him on the 2nd round of combat, it's also not too bad. So quite interesting. I get the slave in a position to chaff them in the flank, and I get the Bastion in a position to shoot, but still be far away for Griffin and the Sky Sloop. So meaning it's not so likely that he get both charges, and if he gets that, I have a counter charge from the warrior. I move out with the mage and out with the BSB because I don't have many Infernal warrior left. So basically, even if he goes for it, he can get the Bastion unit, but he's going to get countercharged by many stuff, and it's going to be probably too much for him. I also get the Overlord with a small line of sight here, meaning if he go into that combat, he can get countercharged by the Overlord. So if the Griffin, for example, goes alone, or the Sky Sloop alone, it could be a disaster for him. So yeah, really happy about that. The Titan push 14 to the side and cover the flank here in case the Griffin the Phoenix wants to go, and I also cover all the position here. He can stay out of line of sight here, but I don't care too much about that. In the magic phase, I'm going to get Hereditary on the Phoenix, allowing me to hit on 4+ and get reroll to wound, which should be a good help for this combat, obviously. Shooting, I kill 3 Swordmaster, and close combat, we will see how that goes. Close combat, he did 2 wounds to me, which is expected. And unfortunately, I roll pretty low. I managed only to do 1 wound from the attack and 0 wound from the 2 grinding attack, reroll to wound. So here it's basically 12, 13 attack on a 4+, and then 4+ rollable. And he has a 6 up, 5 up. And then that's the 2 grind on a 4 up rollable, and he has only a 5 up. And all of that combined, I managed only to do 1 wound, which is a charge, a rank, and a wound against 2 wounds. He lose by 1. It's check on a 9, no reroll. So it's still shaky check. Not shaky, but yeah, a bit dicey. 9 is fine. But as you know, if I roll average, it's like 3 to 4 wounds total. Then he loses by 3 or 4. It's high likelihood that he flees. And then I can get the overrun that I want. And I think then he's in big trouble. I would have liked that. Unfortunately, he stick for this round, so we will see how that goes. Let's move on to his turn 3. He double charged my chaff, which I don't understand really why double charge. I think 1 could have been enough. Reposition, then everything to counter my breakthrough, because this is huge towards the game. So he chaffed me and put the Griffin and the 2 Sky Sloop. So I managed to do what I wanted, which is basically I diverted his aggression. And basically the 2 infantry block now are alone facing all my combat power, or most of my combat power. So I felt here I get basically another power situation where I should be winning, and he gets in a situation where, okay, he can deal with these 2 units, but then I can apply pressure somewhere else. And if I get rid of these 2 combat units, then the single model alone might not be able to, the Griffin alone will not do much. So I'm quite happy about the situation I'm in. The Phoenix decided not to move to force me a march check, and that's it. So it's pretty interesting. He's feeling in a nice spot. In the magic phase, he gets Quicksilver Lash, kills 1 warrior. He gets Hereditary as well. Shooting, he kills a total of 9 Infernal warrior here. So he's starting to do job on the Infernal warrior that are still a good combat threat, because here I have an interesting charge with the Infernal warrior onto those guys. That should be in the flank, so this is going to be an interesting charge for me. And then close combat, he did a total of 4 wounds to these guys, also with the Sky Sloop. I managed to pass the 9 non-rerollable check, which wasn't easy. And then close combat, I still don't kill the Phoenix. I managed to do 2 wounds, he did 1 wound, and he passed the check on a 9 again. So that's now more annoying, because I didn't deal with him on 2 rounds of combat, meaning we're still stuck in combat, and now that's my turn and I cannot charge. I got rid of those guys and reform, and I have a charge here on a 9 in the flank. And I think if I get in, it's pretty important, because it's those guys done, overrun on those guys, which is I think an 8 on 2 dice. Could be really interesting to get rid of everything in one go, but I failed the charge on the 9. Fortunately for me, I passed the march check on the 7 to come in front of the archer, so that was quite important. Also blocking the Phoenix from coming to my flank, which I don't care too much because I would be still steadfast. But yeah, it's still a very nice position from the Titan that applies a lot of pressure, because I'm full wound and next round I'm going to be in combat. Here I charge the chaff. I think small mistake, I could have charged with the unit with less wound remaining. But yeah, I charged with the great weapon guys, and then I can decide if I want to flee or not. I have enough room behind. Those guys move a bit more to the flank. Here we're still stuck in combat. Yeah, maximized number of attack last round already. And here I charge with the Overlord to block them. I chaff again the Swordmaster, and I'm moving back with the Mage and General into the Bastion unit. And I'm going to shoot and magic them. We will see how that goes. In the magic phase, I get Grave Call, but I do nothing to his Lord. He uses 1 token from Meledis, and I do nothing to the Lord. I felt here, I think it's a key spell. Obviously, we can debate, should I do more wounds to those guys, but I felt I should be winning. You see how much power I have here. I'm going to deal with them at some point, so I don't care too much. But here, if I manage to do 2 wounds to the Griffin, then I can stick to the charge. And I think towards the overall macro of the game, it's huge. If I do 2-3 wounds to this guy, maybe cannot engage anymore, and then I'm in a good position to apply pressure on the left flank. So I would have liked that, but yeah, it's a Grave Call, strength 5, so it's not too complicated for him to save that, and I do nothing in the end. Shooting, I think I did 1-2 wounds to the Swordmaster. Combat, he sacrificed the champion and passes the Steadfast. I finally kill the Phoenix, but he's going to come back to life, and I kill the Chaff. His turn 4, he charged with the Griffin against those guys. I flee, he has no other charges available, so he failed charge. Those 2 guys stay in position to shoot me. He rebirths the Phoenix, passes the mark check, and move here to chaff my Infernal Warrior to avoid the charge in those guys. Those guys charge here. Here we're stuck in combat, and the second Phoenix passes the mark check and moves towards the back line. So 2 Phoenixes threatening my Bastion. It's going to be interesting. He feeds the Kadim Titan the first unit of Archer, which is worth a good amount of points. So I like that. I'm hoping to eat them and apply pressure on the back line. We will see how that goes. In the magic phase, he killed a couple of warriors, I think 6 of them with shooting. He got also a spell somewhere, but I dispelled the heal, has always been my focus. He also got Quicksilver Lash, killed another warrior guy, and got Hereditary, close combat. Yeah, killed some guy here, still steadfast. Here I die, I crumble, but I killed somebody before dying, and that was it. My turn 4. Unfortunately, I failed the rally check on the 9, so I'm out of the board, which is a shame because I still had time with 2 march moves to be in the breakthrough, which would have forced him to move forward and deal with me. So I would have liked that a lot. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen this time. Charge with the Titan in past terror check. I charge here with the Warrior to finish this guy on 1 wound remaining. So I felt with the Flaming Banner, I should be able to kill him. And it's always a good tip to remember, if you have an opportunity to get a charge on a flying model, you should get it and keep him on the ground. So I charge him. We'll see how that goes, trying to get reroll to wound here. Here I'm getting in position to do damage with magic and shooting on the Phoenix. And then those guys overrun towards my deployment zone, so they are in breakthrough, but I don't care. They're not in the game anymore. They're looking that way, so I can wait later to get rid of them. Here I countercharge with the Incarnate onto those guys. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, exactly. Those guys. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm trying to get rid of them this round and then turn around and get rid of those guys. In the magic phase, I'm getting Grave Call, which get dispelled. Mark for Doom also on the Phoenix, so I do pretty much nothing. And he dispel, yeah, Mark for Doom, I think he dispel with his 3 dice against my 4 dice. And yeah, I got nothing in magic, but still managed to close combat, kill the last one of the Phoenix, break those guys. I elected to pursue to try to get the points, which is like 300 something. I didn't roll high enough with Swift Stride against 2 dice. He flee over those guys, pass the panic check here. Here I kill him, and here I kill those guys as well and turn around. This is the stat to kill the Phoenix, so as you can see, still very good chance to kill the Phoenix, which did happen, and I was happy about that. His turn 5, he charged with the Phoenix against those guys. They elected to flee. He didn't catch me on like a 6 Swift Ride, which is unfortunate for him. He rallied the Archer, moved the character into the unit, and moved the other unit of Archer to chaff me again. Turn around with the Griffin to get rid of me. Kept the 2 Sloop to get rid of those guys. Here we're still in combat, sorry, I forgot to mention that. Those guys turn around to apply pressure in my backline, but I'm expected to finish those guys and charge here next round, which is very important. Yes, what can I say? And then he got Hereditary in Magic, 2d6 strength 4 against the Titan, which did nothing because, yeah, I have toughness 6 and a 3 up against fire, so wasn't meant to do much. Shooting didn't do much because he rallied those guys, so they cannot shoot. Those guys just march forward. That's it. Close combat, I finished those guys, turn around, ready to charge here, which happens on my turn. It's automatic charge, rally those guys, push the Bastion forward to those guys, to charge those guys. I elected not to charge and move out of arc of the Griffin and ready to eat those guys on my last round. This guy moved back. I have 2 wounds left. He has 8 shots on the 4+4+. If he doesn't kill me, I can march and get breakthrough last round. So we will see if that happened or not. In the magic phase, Breath Weapon did nothing on the Phoenix. He dispelled the Grave Call. I got Pentagram killing some Sword Masters and get me reroll to wound in close combat. And then, yeah, that's it pretty much. His last round, he failed another charge on 7 with the Phoenix. So he doesn't get those points. And he turned around to shoot me. Move back with the Griffin, ready to shoot me in magic. And shooting is going to finish those guys. Exactly the 2 wounds that were remaining, unfortunately for me. Then that's it. And my last round, I charge with the Overlord, get the charge. It's 8 or 9 Swift Ride, I guess. 8, I think so. Got the charge off, get reroll to wound and multiple wound due to the Onyx core. I'm going to eat him in close combat, which is nice. And eat the Archer with the Kadim Titan, and that's it. So it ended up being a 13-7 for me. I don't get breakthrough. It doesn't get breakthrough as well because I killed those Sword Master in the end. And I basically got the 2 Phoenix, the Light Cavalry, the Sword Master, the Flame Warden, and the unit of Archer. And he got the 2 Slaves, the 2 unit of Anointed, and half the Infernal Warrior, which is 13-7. So deployment, I think maybe the 2 Anointed unit on the left were too much. 1 on the right could have been better. I think the Kadim Titan achieved what I wanted to achieve. But if I would have had another scoring unit on the right, maybe it's harder for him to choose where to go. I don't know. We can debate. I could also have been the Kadim Titan on the left and 1 unit of Anointed on the right, for example. Which then allows me to push more maybe on the left with the Titan. I'm far away from the Archer, so maybe it would have been better. And it's also far away from the Griffin. So that could have been nice as well, to just switch the Titan and a unit of Anointed. I think that would have been nice. I managed to propose distraction on the flanks to force him to react and adjust. I think that's a key point. If you take a look at the Griffin, he had no combat. He had 1 failed charge, which I didn't manage to rally, so he still took points. But basically, he was all the time forcing to adjust, and I think that's something to keep in mind. If somebody is coming aggressive against you, if you manage to counter-attack him somewhere else, he's going to be forced to adjust something or lose points. So, and in this case, also secondary was in play. Turn 2, Highborn Elf, Infernal Dwarves. Yeah, aggression managed with the chaff and the flanking maneuver. So I was able to chaff his infantry unit, which was never going to end up well for him, I felt. And the fact that I flank, he had to adjust and basically this like slow down his attacking move. Turn 3 Infernal Dwarves. Could have charged with the other Anointed unit that has less wounds. I don't remember the way he would have contacted, if it was enough, if I could have moved back the Great Weapon enough. So I don't know. It's easy to tell from the picture. I don't know if it was doable or not. Overlord in Incarnate easily dealt with the 2 infantry block. Unlucky Phoenix on the right. Yeah, he failed 2 easy charge. I think 1 on a 6, 1 on a 7, both swift right. So it was really unfortunate and then got eaten by the Overlord. Turn 6, Highborn Elf, a dicey last round of shooting for the secondary objective, obviously. 4+4+, 2 wounds to do, he did that. Highborn Elf attempt to try out the matchup. I think that's also key to mention. He picked this matchup despite it being slightly negative because he wanted to try that out. And as you can see, he played in a way to try it out, to try to be aggressive, to see how that goes, which didn't work that well against me. Because of the amount of combat unit that I had. Happy to see the Griffin without any combat fought. I think that's worth mentioning. The Griffin has nothing to really fight in this game, and that was nice, except the fail charge, which he was still able to get point from. But yeah, I was pretty happy from the fact that he was all the time trying to readjust to my moves. The round didn't end up well for two main reasons. These two games, we knew that we had a very bad matchup against the Beast Herd, so we knew that it was a hard match for everybody in the team, and we decided to put the Demon on it because we felt with the shooting and the flexibility of the list, it might be able to get out with something, which didn't work out well. And then we definitely Juggernaut misjudged this matchup. On all the ground, we felt it was pretty even, but it's definitely in the advantage of the Orc and Goblin player. So it was more a negative matchup than an equal. And if you try to go for it and then you realize that you cannot really, it might be too late, and this ended up to very bad for him with a 1. And then we won the positive matchup, and me and Lichmeister 13-15, but it's not enough comparison to 18-19. Which makes up losing big 31 after the first one. So we go pretty low in the table, and now we are going to have the hard task to try to climb back the table, but it's going to be really, really hard to go for the win, nearly impossible, and try to go for the podium maybe. It's going to be a long journey for us back climbing the table, which we are not used to, but it's going to be an interesting challenge to see how we can max the points in the upcoming rounds. Guys, thanks a lot for watching the battle report. I hope you liked it, and talk to you soon on the channel. Bye bye.